This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, I'm Sabrina Brown. It's great to have you with us. Topping the news tonight, passengers booked on the Grandeur of the Seas are back home. The ship is proceeding with repairs, and the controversy regarding the transport of the passengers from the ship to the airport continues. Following the incident, the passengers had to be bused to the airport. It is the mode of transportation that has created the controversy. Taxi union leaders have taken issue with the fact that a local charter service took the majority of the business, calling it an unfair arrangement. Tonight, the local company is firing back. Megan Shepard has the story.
There was a ship in distress. There was a crisis mode on, and my responsibility is to respond to command. And that's what I did.
Despite the claims by taxi union officials, president of H. Forbes Charter Hadley Forbes says he did not have the luxury of picking and choosing in this situation, but he acted quickly in a situation of crisis.
After hearing what the taxi union presidents are saying, I am forced to say that he needs to reassess what he said, how he said it, and the time he said it. I don't have that luxury in the middle of crisis to make irresponsible statement. I apologize for the taxi drivers who might have been dragged into this, because it's not about them. The government gave us license. Didn't give us license for ourselves. Give license to serve people in accordance with the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. That is what we do. And if we are doing anything contrary to the law, we would like for them to step in at any time, correct us, and we'd be very happy to respond.
Forbes claimed that he spoke personally to president of the taxi union, David Jones, and told him that they will work together in transporting the cruise passengers.
I wind up giving them 506 other persons, and which I would pay them for it. And if he is so concerned about the taxi driver, at least he can give them the 506 person, and I will pay them today.
But the taxi union remains adamant in its claims that it was illegal for Forbes to transport the passengers on Tuesday morning, indicating that the arrangement wasn't booked 24 hours in advance. But Forbes says this would be impossible given the circumstances.
No one knew that that ship was going to catch a fire. No one knew that whether anybody would have been saved or lost. No one knows that. The ship came here for emergency purposes, was not destined to come here. Sometimes we make plans, but our plans are changed. We have to be adapted to change.
Megan Shepard, ZNS Network News.
The 2,200 passengers of Royal Caribbean's Grandeur of the Seas have all been flown to Baltimore, Maryland, where the cruise originated. The last plane load of passengers left Freeport yesterday afternoon. Royal Caribbean chartered several aircraft to transport the passengers after the ship was forced to dock in Freeport following a fire on board on Monday morning. The ship was on a 7-day cruise and was headed to its first destination, Coco Cay in the Berry Islands, when a fire erupted in the rear mooring deck. The ship is currently docked here in Grand Bahama for repairs. Royal Caribbean says due to the time needed to effect repairs, it has canceled its next 6 sailings and is expected to return to the high seas on July 12th. Affected customers have been promised a full refund. The Grandeur of the Seas was recently renovated in Spain at a cost of $48 million. While some assistance may be in sight for electricity consumers who have had their services disconnected, the Grand Bahama Power Company has announced the launch of its formal customer reconnection program that will begin on June 3rd. Now, this is how the program will work. Residential consumers disconnected for non-payment will be given a period of 2 weeks to register for the reconnection program. Customers are required to pay 1 month's bill to be reconnected, and the company will waive the standard reconnection fee. Customers will then be placed on a 3-year payment plan for the balance of the arrears. The reconnection program dictates that customers remain in good standing with their current bills while properly maintaining the terms and agreements of the payment plan. Grand Bahama Power Company maintains that less than 2% of customers are currently disconnected. The countdown is on to the country's 40th anniversary of independence. The Governor General of the Bahamas, His Excellency Sir Arthur Folkes, says he's excited about this milestone and what it means for the Bahamas. Shishina Roll reports.
The Governor General had a busy week on Grand Bahama this weekend, from a pre-independence parade to a luncheon and even worshiping in a special church service on Sunday. The Bahamian statesman also took time to share his thoughts on the country's 40th anniversary of independence, noting that Bahamians should not forget how far we've come.
Most of us had to leave school at the age of 14. Very few were able to go to government high school. You had to take an examination to pass, and you had to pay a couple of pounds. And the majority never had the opportunity for higher education. Today, we have hundreds, thousands of Bahamians with tertiary degrees, bachelors, masters, even doctorates. We have Rhodes Scholars.
And while he says that the country has made tremendous strides, he notes that there is an area of concern: the young men.
The tendency of a lot of our young men to leave school too early, I don't know how we're going to deal with that. I go to the various graduation ceremonies, and most often those graduating, even at the College of the Bahamas, 80% female. And the gangs are feeding on these young men who are not educated and stay in school. So that's a problem, that's a huge problem that we have.
As going forward, people and politicians must unite, regardless of politics.
It's a tragedy when politics makes enemies of you. And people in politics, I always tell young politicians, remember your opponent. You may disagree vehemently with what he says or what she says or what he or she wants to do. But remember this, that they love their country just as much as you.
Sir Arthur Folkes is sharing where he sees the Bahamas another 40 years from now.
I think the population of the Bahamas will be dramatically expanded. I see developments in the Family Islands. Abaco, as you know, is well developed, and I like that model of development, small boutique resorts. And we have so many islands to develop. The possibilities of the Bahamas are limitless. Limitless.
Shishina Roll, ZNS Network News.
Thank you, Sheena. Well, Peter Adderley, co-chair of the Grand Bahama Independence Committee, was the featured speaker at the Rotary Club's weekly meeting. He talked about the upcoming events for the 40th anniversary.
On Saturday, June 22nd, there's an event called 40 Cigars, which will be held here on Grand Bahama as a part of the Independence celebration. And we will honor 40 men on Grand Bahama during that time. We truly have cause to celebrate. 40 years is a wonderful mark. It's a wonderful mark.
Adderley adds that this will be such an incredible experience, and he hopes that Independence celebrations go beyond the month of July.
We expect that as we continue these celebrations in the month of June, on the 7th of June, which is Labor Day, on Friday, we've met with the unions and asked them not to divide this march into unions or PLP or F&M, but for us to have a unity march, and we wear the Bahamian flag colors on that day. On Saturday, the 8th of June, we're going to go to the International Bazaar and have a a mini concert, and an All Things Bahamian Day.
All companies are invited to be a part of the Independence Parade that will take place July 10th on the Mall Drive at 9 a.m. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, is coming right back.